The former US Secretary of State Mike Pompeo in a new book has claimed that India and Pakistan actually came close to a nuclear war. He said specifically that he was awakened to speak to his then Indian counterpart Sushma Swaraj, who told him that Pakistan was preparing for a nuclear attack in the wake of the Balakot surgical strike in Feb 2019 and that India was preparing its own escalatory response. This is in his latest book, Never Give an Inch, Fighting for the America That I Love. It hit the stores on Tuesday. Pompeo said that he himself was in Hanoi, which is in Vietnam, for the US-North Korea summit. This was back then on Feb 27th and 28th when his team actually had to work overnight. This is according to him, to avert this crisis. I just want to point out to you, we don't yet have any formal Indian response that can corroborate Pompeo's version of events. Let's go over to my colleague Abhishek right now to get more context on this entire story. Abhishek, our audiences will remember what happened. Indian warplanes, the Indian government responded and reported that Indian warplanes had pounded a Jaish-e-Mohammed training camp. This was in Balakot in Pakistan on Feb 2019. This was in response to the Pulwama terror attack that had taken place that killed 40 CRPF Jawans. Mike Pompeo now coming forward and saying that there was the possibility of a nuclear war, at least according to the Indian side. I just want to understand, can you take us into more detail about what Pompeo has said, please?
This is what Pompeo has explained in his new book, where he has described India-Pakistan relationship. He explains that that night when India and Pakistan were at a heightened tension, he was briefed by his associates in Hanoi, where he was there to have a conversation, a dialogue with North Korea, that there is an escalation going on from Pakistani side. This is the information that he got from his Indian team, that Indian team is trying to escalate in its own way, because Pakistan was apparently trying to launch some nuclear attack on India. He did get in touch with Indian authorities or Indian ministers or Indian, his counterparts. He tried, but he says that he was talking to his counterpart. But that time, Sushma Swaraj was the foreign minister, so probably most likely he was talking to some associate of National Security Advisor. This is being indicated in his book, and where he said that give him some time and he'll sort it out. He'll try to talk to Pakistani counterparts or Pakistani officials and try to gauge the situation, what is on the ground. And then he also got in touch with Pakistan's real leader. This is what he has said in his book, Pakistan's real leader, that was Army General Bajwa. And we know that it has been disputed in the past also who is actually calling the shots in Pakistan's government. And most of the time, it has been the army who has been taking the major foreign affairs and security decisions in Pakistan's establishment. And Mike Pompeo got in touch with General Bajwa, and Bajwa said that there is nothing of sort that Pakistan is preparing for any nuclear attack. And he said rather they are apprehensive whether India is trying to do something of this sort. And then Pompeo told him that no, there is nothing going on like this in India. And so the foggy communication that was there when the confusion was heightened and the feeling of distrust between India and Pakistan was at one of the peakest level. That was the time when Mike Pompeo got this information, and he tried to dissuade both the sides, and he tried to convince both of them to de-escalate and not to fall prey of some confusion or some misinformation propaganda that is coming from either side. So this is what he has claimed, that he tried to discourage both sides, and he tried to bring both sides on a level where the escalation, at least to the nuclear level, did not go. And we saw how 24 to 48 hours of India-Pakistan's relationship were very heightened when Indian fighter jets were scrambled to chase Pakistani fighter planes who were coming Kashmir. And in that dogfight, one of the jet fighters pilot Abhinandan was in Pakistan's custody for some times, and that was the time when Pakistan was trying to make him a bait for some larger negotiation, when India had probably refused to have any to give in much concession in that term. And it was a very time of high tension, and Pompeo had tried to explain what he did as part of his duty as foreign minister of the USA, who had good relation with Pakistan also, and who had good relation with India also, who had good network and team in India also, in Pakistan also, and he tried to de-escalate the situation, which did not go to nuclear level.
Okay, Abhishek, just stay with us. Pratik